All right, welcome to episode 135. Welcome back to the 2-minute warning. Again, please give us a follow on Instagram at 2-minute warning without the G. On Instagram, please, it'll really help us out. You can keep up to date with some content and some debatable stuff we'll post on that Instagram account. But to get to the point today, we're looking at the LA Rams. Is this LA team overrated? My short answer is going to be yes. You can't predict anything this team is going to do. They're just not a team that I have faith in to go moving forward to either make the playoffs and then make a solid run in the playoffs. I do think this is a playoff-bound team, but not a great one. Let's take a look at what they've done this year. They are currently second in division, the NFC West. They just had first place before this past weekend where they dropped a game to the 49ers, which have who knows how many of their starters out. This 49er team is broken, but they somehow managed to sweep the Rams this year. That's my biggest problem with this LA team, is they managed to get swept by the 49ers, who are missing who knows how many players. So obviously not a good team in San Francisco, but the Rams found a way to lose to them, which is my big problem with them. And like I said, they're at 7-4, and they just dropped out of first place in their division. Past games that they played this season that raised some question to me. They barely beat Dallas 2017 earlier in the season. I mean, a win is a win. I respect that, but I like a team that's going to be able to put up more than 20 points on Dallas and win by more than 3 points. They did lose to the Bills only by 3, 35-32. So just, again, that proves the inconsistency. How you're going to put up 32 against the Bills, only 20 against Dallas. Of course, it's football. Day-to-day playing is not the same every time. But the Bills is a great team. The Bills are a great team that they almost beat. They only put up 17 points against the Giants. They won 17-9. I think that is a huge problem. I mean, the Giants are not good. You should be doubling that score if you're playoff bound. They got swept by the 49ers. I already mentioned that. That's a huge problem for me. That makes this Rams team overrated, in my opinion. Of course, they're 7-4. They're in contention for winning their division. They were just, as of last week, one of the top seeds in the NFC, but you can't beat the Niners. That's a huge problem for me. They did lose to Miami. Miami is a better team than we all thought. But, again, just the loss to Miami where Jared Goff turned the ball over. They had special teams turnovers. Huge issue there. And they beat the Bucs, and they beat the Seahawks, which are two good teams. So, again, my point being, they are inconsistent. They lose to bad teams. They play great teams good. They beat good teams sometimes, and they lose to the 49ers twice. So my main issue with the Rams is inconsistency, which is why I'm going to say yes, ultimately they are overrated. Jared Goff, leader of that team, is probably my biggest issue outside of the fact that they've lost to the 49ers twice. He's put up 3,000 yards this year. That's solid. But his touchdown-interception ratio is 16-10. I mean, not terrible, but those interceptions, of course, that's 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Those interceptions come in big spots. I mean, just the other week against the Bucs, Rams were trying to hold on to win. Jared Goff threw 2 interceptions, one at the end of the game that I thought was going to give Bucs the game. If Tom Brady wouldn't have been worse that night, Rams would have added another loss that night. And then his QBR is 57.5, which is 24th in the league. I mean, that right there alone should tell you this team is overrated. You can't be top of the league if your quarterback's in the bottom third of the league. Simple as that. So between the inconsistency in beating good teams and then losing to bad teams or barely beating bad teams, between that inconsistency and then the inconsistency by the team leader, Jared Goff, I think this Rams team is one that we will see in the playoffs but not do anything there. And yes, they may look good record-wise and in the division standings, but ultimately I'm going to go with yes, this Rams team is overrated. Thanks for tuning in, guys. 2-minute warning.